Okay, so during your one-on-one interviews, you're inevitably going to be asked, so do you have any questions for me? And then you better not say, no, or like, how many hours a week is this? Or what's the salary? Like, that's lame. Of course you're not gonna do that. You're smart enough to be enrolled in this course. Of course you're not. But it might also be more of an implicit thing, like there might also be a lull in the conversation where they honestly don't sound like they have a follow-up to their question. Maybe they only prepared like one good question, and then it's up to you to carry part of the interview. So here's an approach to asking good questions. Think of the best questions you can, given what you've researched about the company, and then look at them, and then just think, how do I make them better? That's important because a lot of people are not going to take that extra step. A lot of people are just going to kind of ask those basic questions. But if you really go, deeper to the next level, and then you ask them things that, say maybe only their coworkers ask them about, well, they're going to see you as more than an applicant. They're going to see you as a coworker, and that's exactly what you want. So a generic example of a question you can ask them, which is not great, would be, all right, so what does it take to be successful here? If you can't tell, I'm throwing you shade. I'm like side-eyeing you right now. No. I mean, yeah, that's what you read on blogs like from monster.com, and like, this is what you have to ask in the blogs. And yeah, I mean, it's a question, it passes the time, but it doesn't make you stand out. It kind of makes you sound like you didn't do your homework, actually. Because if you've actually researched the company and you're ready to work there, then you're going to know some basics about it. If it's a big company, it's going to require, certain skills that a small company does not require, and vice versa. And, it's just based on the product and the industry, based on the job rec. I mean, they're telling you what it takes. So don't ask those basic questions. Unless you can't think of anything. But a slightly better question, okay, here's an example for SpaceX. And everybody knows that we work long hours. We got crazy work ethic. So you could ask something like, hey, so I know from talking to people that you guys work really hard and you work really long hours, and I want to be like that too. So what are some tips for actually surviving and being successful there? I mean, that's pretty good. It shows that you are thinking about actually being an employee there, and you're trying to think ahead to not burning out, which it definitely happens sometimes for people who get hired and then they'll leave a few months later. So nobody wants to waste their time in that situation. Here's an example of an even better question. And this shows that you've actually done a lot of research. Actually, you might have talked to some employees. So it might go something like this. So, I know that in the aerospace industry, a lot of the design is dictated by requirements flow down. And I've learned that at SpaceX, you guys don't do that quite as much. There was an article about it, there was a conference I went to that mentioned that you do have software that does some requirements tracking, but it's much less formal than other companies, and therefore a lot of that responsibility is left to the design engineers. So I'm wondering, how do you guys actually manage that where you have the discipline to make sure you meet the requirements and you're not burning your people out? And what are the skills and methods that you use to ensure that you have excellent design, but you also have the flexibility to make those changes when you need to? Now, that was like night and day, from the first one, and it's definitely even a couple steps more than the second one. And it really shows that, you're not asking a generic question. You've really thought about this, and you want to work at this place, and you're already trying to think about how you're going to be successful, specific practices. And so that's really going to stick with somebody when they are interviewing you. They're going to think, okay, well, this person is really serious and they ask good questions. Honestly, we have problems with that too. Maybe they might have some ideas on how we could actually improve this and have better quality designs. You never know. You might hit a nerve in a good way.